I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, January the 31st, brought to you in part by Livestock Risk Services. They are your LRP specialists, headquartered there in Oklahoma City at the Oklahoma National Stockyards, but they've got many agents all around and around the edges of Oklahoma City. Get a hold of them. They do this stuff day in and day out. They can answer your questions. They can let you know what it's going to cost, how it will help you. For more information, go to livestockriskservices.com. Cattle inventory report comes out today. It's a big deal. We've been looking forward to it. I don't think it's going to be as volatile as a lot of times our cattle on feed reports are, even though we do have estimates that are coming out, and I gave those to you on our previous visit there. But we are expecting our total cattle and calf inventory to be down around 1.8%. It might be more than that. I think it should be more than that, but I don't think it's going to matter if it is or if it's not. It's not, like I said, it's not a big thing that hinges on that. And our calf crop is going to be down much more than that. So we're talking about deep in the 2% range there on our calf crop for last year. So keep your eyes and ears to that. I think that is having something to do with all the bullishness and the higher markets that we've seen around so far this week. Your board was down some on Monday, but come right back on Tuesday with feeder cattle especially up big. So, but then of course a lot of your ag commodities were up big on Tuesday. So could be just as much that. But another day of beautiful weather. I think the beautiful weather is having as much to do with this big demand for feeder cattle as anything. It's made people's moods a lot better. It's kind of positive and feeling good about things. And when their new cattle have sun on their backs and they're feeling good and they're eating, and even though it's muddy around, people are getting kind of excited about spring already, and we're not even, we're just now starting to get to February. But it's going to be a good deal here, and I think this cattle inventory report that's coming out is going to be a positive. I really don't see how it could be a negative, because most of us feel like that our numbers are even tighter than what's been reported. It's about time for them to catch up a little bit. And even if they go back and they make some corrections from a year or two back, then that'll answer for what they miss here on this one. But it'll be okay as we go forward here. Coming to you from Orlando, Florida, here at the Cattlemen's Convention. And, you know, there's been a lot of talk about this disease traceability directive that they're going to be voting on here on Thursday. And it's really just hiding the fact that it's a EID, and they haven't said mandatory anywhere on there, but the directive literally asks USDA to make final rules about it. Well, since you don't have rules for voluntary programs, most of us all understand that it's going to be mandatory, and it means that all cattle, all classes of cattle, have to be electronic ID tagged by 2026, which is coming around pretty quick. I've told you guys all about it many times. I've ruffled some feathers, there's no doubt about that. Some of these associations evidently don't like hearing from a lot of their membership, which it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But they've got their feathers ruffled. They've contacted us, they've talked to us, they've threatened us, they've done about everything they can do to try to get me to stop telling you about what's going to happen here on Thursday. But I want you to know, and there's some other people that's out there that's been pretty outspoken about it. Ben Hale with Western Livestock Commission there in Oklahoma City. Of course, they got Comanche. They've got Woodward, and then they're up in Iowa there. But you know, he's got boys in this. He's wanting to carry on a heritage with this. He sees what a bad deal this is, like many other people that I've talked to. But the biggest reason that he pointed out that I felt like really showed what could happen if we do this is you're going to have a producer there that has a lot of cattle. He's wanting to sell them and move them off his place. They haven't had their EID tag put in yet, and this guy has no way to get it done. Well, if he takes them to the sale barn is going to have to put them in for him. He's going to have to get charged. He's going to have to stand the shrink, the cost of the tag, the cost of the extra yardage, and the cost of the extra feed to get that done. And most sale barns aren't even going to be able to get it done. But if he takes them to the sale barn, he's going to have to do that. But if he calls somebody direct, maybe one of your big independent or one of your big corporate feeders or backgrounders there, and he tells them he's got his cattle out there and he says, I don't have them EID tagged, they'll say, oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of that when they get to our place. You give us the tags. Here, we'll give you a little bit of extra money to pay for those tags. We'll take care of all that. We'll put the tags in for you and it'll be just fine. We won't charge you a thing. And then he's going to take what they offer him. That does away with price discovery. I'm all about the sale barns. I'm all about the small producers. It's the main reason we do this feeder flash here. And we've got to have price discovery. 2 weeks ago, we didn't know what a fat steer was worth in the Southern Plains because we hadn't sold one in so long in a negotiated manner. We now have sold some in a negotiated manner since then, but it's getting really sketchy whether we're going to have any price discovery on our fat cattle. We always know what our feeder cattle and calves are worth because we have auction markets all over the country that are selling them in an open forum, and you can see what those markets are and what they'll bring. If we don't have price discovery on calves and yearlings, guys, we're sunk. We're absolutely sunk. So we got to keep those sale barns in business, got to keep things going. These calves are really high here starting a week out. I talked to them at Winter Livestock in La Junta, Colorado. They had $4 calves, $4 plus calves. Of course, they were weighing in the threes, but they had $4 calves. We've never really seen that before, guys. Let's talk about your board on Tuesday. February live cattle futures were up 65 cents at 178.02. April was up 52 cents at 181.75. Your back months on live cattle up 72 to up $1.17. March feeder cattle were up 270 at 241.32. That is a big bonus to what our index levels are at on a cash basis, guys. April was up 240 at 247 based on an 800-pound steer. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Your back months were up big, except for your farthest out, which was only up 27 cents, but the others were all up triple digits, with the highest being up 217. March corn up 7.5 cents a bushel at 447 3/4. March beans up 24.5 at 12.18 3/4 cents a bushel. And Kansas City hard red winter wheat for March up 12.5 cents at 6.30 3/4. Your fat cattle trade, we have yet to see anything really break loose in the country on a direct basis. We did see 100 head sale in Iowa. They've sold 200 head for the week. And your dress price was $275, which was right in there close to what they were bringing last week. But that's just a little odd deal that sold. But Nebraska, Kansas, and Texas did not sell a hoof negotiated. But we have that fat cattle auction there at Yankton, South Dakota, soon to be offering DVAuction broadcasting there. But the Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton, South Dakota, they had a good sale. 2,500 head in overnight, 3,000 head for their fat cattle offering. The market was good. It was steady to instances of $2 higher, and the higher was mostly on your program cattle there. But conventional fat steers and heifers in Yankton on Tuesday sold from 168 to 173.50. Your program fat cattle, drug-free or non-implanted cattle sold from 173 all the way up to 179.50. That is a lot higher than we see on a direct basis, guys. Box beef cutout values were down. I've told you we can't hold the $3 levels or $300 levels on choice. Your choice cuts on Tuesday afternoon were down 335 at 296.07. Select was down 177 at 287.05. Your slaughter's running at a very good pace. Just last week we were thinking, well, maybe they're not interested in increasing the slaughter, but so far this week it's been impressive. 252,000 through the first 2 days of the week. That's 12,000 more than last week, and 6,000 more than the same week a year ago. So that's significant. Talk about what else is going on. NationalBeefWire.com is associated here with the Feeder Flash and DVAuction. It is your go-to place for cattle market information, cattle market products, cattle market news. I tell you what, there's a jillion channels on there, and you can find information on every one of them. You can get your Feeder Flash there every day. Go to NationalBeefWire.com and check out that website. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DVAuction. Late in the day on Tuesday, sitting at 237.30. That was up 13 from the big gains that we saw on Monday, so higher yet. Your latest CME cash feeder cattle index was 236.28. Talk about your big sales on Tuesday. Normally we only talk about OKC West and El Reno, Oklahoma on Wednesday after the feeder sale, but I had to tell you about the calf sale on Tuesday. They're a DVAuction broadcaster. We're proud to have them. Big sale there in El Reno, Oklahoma. Just calves on Tuesday, they sold 4,500 head. And the market news reporter there from Federal State Market News in Oklahoma called the calves 15 to 25 bucks higher than last week. You look at this automated market report, and they are your National Beef Wire stick out sale of the day at OKC West there in El Reno. And look at your best tested weights. How about 444 head of 4-weight steer calves? They average 457 with a weighted average price on all of them of $338.38. 766 head of 5-weight steer calves average 553 at $302.68. And 691 head of 6-weight steer calves in El Reno, Oklahoma. They average 643 with a weighted average price of $266.76. Look at the heifers. 576 head of 4-weight heifer calves average 459 at $278.39. 736 head of 5-weight heifers average 542 at $257.97. And 435 head of 6-weight heifers at OKC West average 637, the weighted average price of $238.67. Some other big sales on Tuesday. Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri, another DVAuction broadcaster there. They had 5,750 cattle through the ring on Tuesday in West Plains. Another 755 through their in-house video sale they do with help from DVAuction. The feeders at Ozarks Regional were 4 to 8 bucks higher. The calves were $6 to $12 higher. Stick out sale there at West Plains was 162 head of 962 pound steers that bring $213 a hundred, and that's in West Plains, Missouri, guys. How about some other stick out sales from all around? How about Kimball Livestock Exchange in Kimball, South Dakota? 149 head, 781 pound steers bring $260.50. Wow. How about Imperial Auction Market in Imperial, Nebraska? They sell 53 steers. Light steers weigh $399, or right at 400 pounds, bring $369.50 on Tuesday in Imperial, Nebraska. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Tuesday, and your Macrocin, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Huron Continental Marketing in Huron, South Dakota. It was 73 steers, weighed 810 pounds, and bring $270.25. That's your feeder flash for Wednesday.